And from there, I recovered. I found coaching and hypnotherapy for me, and learned about the deeper mind and how it learns throughout your life's journey. And
hello and welcome to our Meet the Coach series. I'm your host, Carla Egan, and today we're talking to Sabine Lehner, an executive coach specialising in helping burnt out leaders to reconnect with their energy and their passion for what they enjoy. Originally from Austria, Sabine has dedicated years to studying coaching, hypnotherapy and psychotherapy across Austria, Germany, in the UK and now in Australia. Sabine is the founder and director of Turnaround Practice, and she joins us from Fairlight in Sydney, New South Wales. Welcome to our Meet the Coach podcast.
Thank you, Carla. Great to be here. Great to talk to you today.
Now, Sabine, today we're exploring your journey of overcoming burnt out or burnout, and how this event has transformed your life, but it's also led you to your thriving own coaching practice. So can we start there? Can you tell us a bit more about that, please?
So it was actually really almost exactly 12 years ago, in February 2012, when I left my back then office in finance in Vienna, one of the inner city districts, very schmick office, and went to go to a fitness test. So I was back then training for Vienna City half marathon, and went to see my sports physician. And long story short, I didn't quite manage to get there. It's a very easy to find address. I'd been there before. I had to ask 3 people to just find the practice. And then I went back to my office after that, sat on my desk, reading emails over and over again, and wasn't able to process anything. So that was sort of the day and the start where I realized that I couldn't continue like I was. I had to realize that what I was doing didn't give me any joy, didn't give me any pleasure, and I was just heading for that next step in my career outlook to be the next CFO or one of the next a few years down the road. But actually, it was not what was really bringing me joy or meaning in my life. And that was when I then ended up on the 17th of February, so as soon as what I call turnaround day, I ended up on the stairs of my house as a crying human heap and thought my life had ended. I thought, this is it, I'm a failure, I can't do this. And from there I recovered. I found coaching and hypnotherapy for me, and learned about the deeper mind and how it learns throughout your life's journey, and how it then drives you, and sometimes also drives you in ways that are really not beneficial, while we do everything we can to keep ourselves in a positive state and free from harm, and keep us safe in certain situations. And a high stress, it can happen that is absolutely to our detriment. And that's what happened. Kept going and going to achieve my targets, achieve my goals, but sort of lost myself in the process.
Based on our podcast, did you realize it was 12 years? Because that's coming up. That's amazing that you were in that position so long ago, Sabine.
Yeah, I do. And every February I sort of think back, and when I hit major milestones in my life, I think back at that person who was in tears sitting on the stairs.
You mentioned hypnotherapy, which it's obviously a tool and a technique that you use with your clients. For those that are watching and listening to this episode, Sabine, can you share how you utilize hypnotherapy to help people overcome burnout?
It is one of the 3 pillars of how I work with my clients on their executive and recovery journeys to then find their success again. And it starts with mindset, because mindset is really what we need for everything mindset drives. So one of the 3 pillars, and the first one is mindset work, where we dive in the first instance into relaxation. So clients get audios from me to, in the first instance, learn to relax again, to get and help them have different thoughts that automatically emerge in their heads, rather than the tasks they have to do things they have to follow up with, or anything that drives them or that stresses them out. So that's the first step: relaxation, getting them to sleep again, and then working through their emotions, understanding what are the first emotions and primary emotions that drive them. And then we do something that's called emotional detox, to swap out and replace that emotion, that predominant one, with a more beneficial one. And I do this through changing of colors in the mind. So I associate, for instance, one of my clients feels very frustrated, and the most difficult emotion at present being so overwhelmed. And I attach the overwhelmed emotion, feeling overwhelmed, with a color. And then the client in a hypnotic session, one of the first one, tells me what other color they would like to have that's triggering for them a positive emotions. And so in a guided process of roughly 20 minutes, they learn how to swap one emotion for another by swapping colors. And that's one part of the journey. The next is then, once we have stabilized the client more in their mood, to go back in their history and understand where the drivers are coming from, where the beliefs that impact them, that affect them, were built. And it's really interesting, because when working with clients who are 40, 50, 60 years old, they uncover in a trance session that the origin of what brings them down in the present is actually something that they may have experienced when they were 4, 5, 10, or 11. And the brain learns by understanding this is the origin for that emotion and for that behavior, and that's the trigger. When the brain understands how that came about, the client learns, and the brain learns, that the situation, the present as an adult that they are in, has nothing to do with the experience that they had as a child. And via this, by understanding the difference of a situation when they were maybe getting shouted at for asking a question, which may lead the adult to being very wary of asking people for support, maybe to understand, now I'm an adult, I'm an executive, I'm a senior leader, I need my team or my peers to do this, that, or the other. That is totally disconnected, detached from the original situation when they were in as a child that caused that distress. And via this, then they then learn new behaviors, and over time, obviously also time is an important factor there, they learn new behaviors, new responses, and can choose what they want and how to respond, rather than react in a autopilot type of way.
I love your description of the approach that you take, and an emotional detox. I love that, and the color association. For those that are following our conversation and are resonating with what you're saying, what does the path in engaging your services look like, Sabine?
There are two ways. So one always starts with a free consultation to get to know me, and for me to get to know my clients, and also to see if the chemistry is right, if the personal history or the personal stories align. And I also have a very accessible 1-hour offer that works with an assessment of a client situation, about their needs, about their values, about their motivations and interests. And then with the debrief, which is roughly 45 minutes, the clients walk away with 3 top actions that they can implement right away. And that's also a very good way to find out what it is like to work with me. So this is a good way to understand how to work with me, and then also walk away very specifically with actions right away. And then afterwards, if that works for the client, I have a longer program, as obviously all transformation and all development take time. And so the signature program that is out with my clients now, and very custom tailored and very detailed, is the program that is called Reignite. It is a 5 months journey of one-on-one sessions that start with mindset work to address underlying root causes for a client's issue, for the topics that they are having, and then build an emotional foundation similar to what I described, to then build on that and move forward with an executive coaching journey of strategy. What do they want to achieve in their role? How do they want to navigate forward? Do they want to continue in their role, or maybe also move on from their role? And dedicated action planning, very much in a coaching way, of how to get there.
Thank you for explaining the steps. I think you paint a really clear picture for those that are experiencing burnout. There actually are some steps, approaches that they can do to engage in professional and personal growth. My last question to you, Sabine, as a coach, what does being a member of the Coaching Directory mean for you and your business?
For me, being a member of the Coaching Directory means a great opportunity to get to know other coaches, to build my network, and also get opportunities like this one to be on a podcast and get interviewed by Carla, and also glimpses in how Carla is working and what questions she's asking and how she's building her business, and also the plans that she has, Carla, that you have for the Coaching Directory moving forward.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. We appreciate you being a member of our directory. And that brings us to the end of our Meet the Coach interview. Thanks, Sabine, for raising this topic today, because burnout is increasingly common in today's fast-paced world. And your story is a reminder that with the right type of support and the right strategies, you can overcome burnout. And you're a walking example of that 12 years later. Thanks, Sabine.
Thank you, Carla.
For those of you that are eager to dive deeper into the realms of coaching and personal development, please subscribe to our newsletter. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please rate and review us, and be sure to catch us in the next episode. This is Carla Regan, your host from the Coaching Directory, where we connect you to your ideal coach.